Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be talking about the AN-94 in a bit more detail. This weapon is available to use in the Battlefield 4 CTE, and it's going to come out in the spring patch, which is coming out very soon. We don't have an exact release date, but I have a feeling in the next few weeks. Now in this video, I would like to talk about why the AN-94 is an entirely unique weapon in Battlefield, how it currently performs in the CTE, and something that they could do to actually make it much more realistic, because the fire mode of the weapon right now does not represent how the weapon functions in real life. Now this gun has two different fire modes. One is full auto, which shoots 600 rounds per minute. Not particularly effective, and it's not really going to wow anybody on the battlefield. The other is a burst fire mode, which is a 2-round select fire mode, and it shoots both of those shots so quickly that in theory they should go to pretty much the exact same location. It's an 1800 round per minute burst fire. That's not to say you can actually shoot your entire magazine at 1800 rounds per minute, but those two individual shots will shoot that quickly. Now in Battlefield 4 they've created a bit of a delay between the bursts, which is actually realistic to the real life gun, but in Battlefield 3 there wasn't any delay between the bursts, so if you tapped fired at the perfect interval, you could actually shoot it at its maximum rate of fire, which is why so many players like this weapon. It also allowed people to create macros specifically for it, which allowed people to effortlessly shoot this gun at its maximum rate of fire, giving them a huge advantage over the competition. Since it's its max rate of fire, it could shoot faster than any other assault rifle in the game. So now that the weapon has essentially been fixed for Battlefield 4, there's a lot of Battlefield 3 diehard fans complaining that the gun is nowhere near as good as it used to be, and they're kind of upset that it's not the powerhouse that they're expecting it to be. Personally, I like the changes to Battlefield 4, but I wish DICE had actually gone the full distance when tweaking the rate of fire of this weapon. Something that not a lot of people know is that when this gun is set to full automatic mode, it actually shoots the first 2 rounds at the extremely high rate of fire, 1800 rounds per minute, and then transitions into its 600 round per minute rate of fire. This would be an extremely interesting way to shoot the weapon in Battlefield 4, and it would make it very unique in the game, and you would really have to kind of train to learn how the weapon shoots. 1800 rounds per minute and then transitions to 600 rounds per minute for any follow-up shots or trying to get follow-up kills. It would be a very interesting way to just approach any combat situation. Now I really don't know how hard it would be to program a rate of fire that fluctuates while firing a weapon, but it would certainly be cool, and it would actually make the AN-94 perform authentically. This way you probably wouldn't get as many players complaining about not being able to burst fire it as quickly as you wanted to, because it would now have this full auto feature that would really give you a great backup plan if you weren't able to kill somebody with your first burst round. Now the last time I talked about this weapon is when it was still a white box model and had just been added to CTE, and I was a bit underwhelmed with its performance. One of the main reasons for this is that they gave it the standard assault rifle damage model of 24 damage maximum. This didn't allow you to get a 1 burst headshot kill in close quarters because you just couldn't achieve that 100 damage maximum. Now what they've done in CTE is they've added that 2.13 headshot multiplier for most basic weapons. I believe this is assault rifles, carbines, PDWs, and this will actually allow you to now get a burst fire headshot kill in CQB, provided that you shoot your opponent in the head twice with the burst fire round. So the AN-94 now has a bit more effectiveness in CQB, but so does every single other assault rifle, carbine, and PDW. Also LMG, I believe. Now, having really grinded out some kills using this weapon in both full automatic fire and burst fire mode, I have to conclude that it is a good assault rifle, but it's most effective at range. You can use it in CQB, and it does have that sort of backup plan of getting that burst fire headshot, but you're going to want to use it at range mostly because it's a very accurate weapon. Its burst fire function does not have a lot of recoil, and when you actually use it in full auto, the recoil is almost non-existent. So you can be very accurate at a range with this weapon, and I think this is something that DICE is trying to shift towards right now with most weapons that have high rates of fire. They're going to make them much harder to use at further ranges, whereas low rate of fire weapons are supposedly going to become much more accurate. So you're going to see significant shift in terms of the ranged effectiveness of these weapons against each other, and the AN-94 is going to be very effective at further ranges. The only problem with this is that the AN-94 is not alone with the slower rate of fire assault rifles that are actually very accurate and low recoil. The AK-12 is going to be one of them, so it's going to be directly competing with this weapon and the SAR-21, so it's not going to be alone in terms of the low rate of fire, highly accurate ARs. And for this reason, I think it would be much more interesting to actually give the AN-94 the 2-round burst that then transitions to the 600 round fully automatic fire. That would be very cool. It would be authentic to the real weapon, and it would give this gun a unique property that no other weapon in the game has. There are other 2-round burst guns in the game right now, and it's simply just not as effective as I think most people want to believe it is, especially now that you can't tap fire as quickly as you could in Battlefield 3. Does that make the AN-94 a bad assault rifle? Absolutely not. I would probably only use it in burst round mode, since full automatic you're not really getting any major benefits in any department, so you may as well take advantage of the one awesome benefit this gun has, is an extremely accurate 2-round burst that shoots at about 1800 rounds per minute. Once you switch it into full auto mode, you've pretty much got the AK-12 beating this weapon at every turn. Although full auto can be a little bit easier to get kills in CQB, it's not easy to hit a moving target in the head with that 2-round burst, and frankly burst fire is just not ideal for hitting moving targets in general. This gun excels when you have a stationary target at range. You can line up, go for the head, and you can get a nice quick 2-burst kill that basically your opponent doesn't even realize is happening until they're already dead. So in conclusion, I think it's awesome that DICE are bringing a whole bunch of new weapons to the game, especially free of charge, and they're bringing back the iconic AN-94. But in my opinion, if you're going to go the distance, if you're going to bring this weapon back, do it right, make it unique enough to the point where people are going to really want to use it for a specific purpose. That burst fire to full auto fire would be really, really interesting, and if it just comes out with sort of this 2-round burst mode that's kind of cool but not that great overall, people are going to use it as more of a novelty gun and not something that can actually get the job done. How likely is it that they would be able to implement a feature like this before the next patch comes out? Pretty unlikely, but DICE has been so good about going back and revisiting certain features of the game, I wouldn't put it past them to revisit a cool feature like this. As always guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of the AN-94 if you've tried it out, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.